Welcome back to Great Day. Every year, thousands of families hear the words, "Your child is autistic." The diagnosis can come with some unique challenges. For our next guest, little did they know that a previous career and a passion for wine would not only help their son, but also other children on the so-called spectrum. Bailey and Simon Heidemis are inspired by their son, Robert. It's how Robert wine was born. Every glass gives back, helping children with learning and language differences get the resources they need. They join us to share more behind the pour. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. You two met in 2008, and you both shared a passion for wine. What was it about wine that you're like, your passion's a little extra than a lot of people?
Just a little bit. For me, it was, I'm a consumer of knowledge, and just drinking a bottle, there's a story in every one.
Yeah.
And whether it's old world, new world, and to be able to share that with my girlfriend, fiance, now wife, it's just been exciting.
Yeah, you're right. It takes so much for it to go from, where it got started, planted as a seed, to where it is right now. We'll get to tasting here in a minute. But the story behind it, you have two sons, Thomas, who's 12, and Robert, who you nicknamed Robert, is 10 years old. All right, Bailey, your career previously to having children, little did you know.
Yes, so I had this incredible opportunity back in 2010. I worked for the Parish School in Houston, Texas. It's a special needs school for children who have language and learning differences. And there I was a part of their development department. I helped fundraise and plan events. But while I was there, I got to work alongside these amazing professionals, speech pathologist, occupational therapist, reading specialist, and I learned so much about language development, learning disabilities, and the importance of early intervention.
Yeah.
I got to see firsthand these children, their lives transformed by early intervention and therapeutic programming.
And not only that early intervention, but you also realize that a lot of people can't access that early intervention.
Yes, it's expensive.
And because of all those specialists that you just named. It's not because they're just charging more.
Absolutely.
It's because that's what
There's a reason.
Yeah.
We joke that, it's worth every penny. It's just hard to find the pennies.
Yeah.
So yes, it's very expensive. And so we've also experienced that as well. And so a part of this wine, we want to be able to give back to the Houston community so that they can, have access to these Houston resources. We're so lucky to live here. There's so many resources.
Yeah. Speaking of squeezing pennies, you understand that. You're in investment banking and oil and gas, but you joined Aperture Cellars as the CFO.
That's correct.
That's how much you love wine. Right?
I was able to pivot from oil and gas to wine. I was recruited by a handful of Houston mentors to combine my love of finance with wine, and for 4 years built this beautiful facility out in Sonoma County. And in 2020 is when COVID hits, and Bailey and I are sitting on our back porch, and Robert was born.
Yeah, all right. Because you, when your son Robert was born, nicknamed Robert, the first thing that we do is we look at the 10 toes, 10 fingers. We go, okay, we're all good, right? Nothing.
It's a human.
Yeah. And it's a human. And you'd already had a son before, so nothing really monumentally different. And that's the thing that's kind of crazy about autism is that out of the gate, everything appears to be just no concerns, right?
Yes.
Besides just being young parents. But around 17 months, you started noticing some changes. What had he been doing developmentally before that suddenly changed?
Sure. So he was doing some typical things like waving bye-bye at familiar faces, waving, pointing at things, playing peekaboo, playing appropriately with toys.
A lot of joint attention.
Yeah, and so really connected.
The thing that you always look for in children that a lot of us take for granted, right?
Yes, and then all of a sudden it was like a light switch. He had this huge regression of skills. He wasn't waving goodbye. He wasn't making eye contact. He wasn't responding to his name. I would bang on pots and pans and he wouldn't look at me. It was just very concerning and very quick.
From what you had known working at the parish school, did you have an inkling that could be it?
Yes, I'm so grateful that I had that experience at the parish school, because not everyone at parish has an autism diagnosis. There's lots of different types of students.
Dyslexia, all
lots
that,
of different learning differences. However, I did get to know some of the students there with autism and their families. So I knew some of the warning signs, and I had heard some of the testimonies of the families of what it was like in those early days. And so I knew immediately. I was like, these are early signs of autism, and I need to get active and
And for a lot of parents, it's a mystery to them, and they may go to the doctor, but it takes a while for the diagnosis to take place. In fact, a lot of times they'll say wait to 2 years old. So when did you get the official diagnosis, although you jumped on some things pretty early?
We did. We immediately put him into therapy at the Carew Center, which is the on-site clinic at the parish school. He did occupational therapy and speech therapy. So he started that at 18 months, but he was not diagnosed on the spectrum until after he was 3. So it took over a year to get him diagnosed, and it can take longer. It's a long process. There's waiting lists.
To be sure.
And the doctor has to see them multiple times. So I'm so grateful that we jumped into intervention, because we would have wasted a year, especially at the age of 2. He's so prime for language acquisition.
Even though you had an idea of what was going on, to still hear the words, okay, we have a diagnosis, he has autism or he's autistic.
It hits you like a wrecking ball.
Yeah, it was rough. I mean, I expected it. I knew it was coming, and still, when she said the words, it was just really hard. It was like a gut punch, and you start to just question a lot of things. A lot of doubt creeps in, and you wonder, is he going to talk? Is he going to have friends? Is he going to be able to go to school and have a job one day? So it's overwhelming, to say the least, and it can paralyze you.
And the other thing that's crazy about it is that every child does not present the same.
Right.
Because
so there's
you ask
no
those questions,
path.
but then the same thing can be asked of Elon Musk's mother,
Right.
and look at him, Bill Gates, and look at him, right? All these people who are on that
Correct.
so-called spectrum, who we know are some of the most brilliant
You have
minds.
no idea.
Yeah. And I remember my son was severe ADHD, and I remember a parent saying to me once, deal with the child you have, not the one you thought you were going to get.
Absolutely.
And watch what happens, right?
Yes.
And then you watch what happened. And what has happened with Robert is that he's developing great because of that early intervention.
Absolutely. He is the poster child for early intervention. Those early years, I mean, even right when he got the diagnosis, we had just heard first words, which was huge. And so that kind of brought me back and out of my kind of doubt. I was like, I have hope, because I've seen already what this intervention can do. And right after the diagnosis, he was accepted to the parish school in their 3-year-old class. And I knew then, oh my gosh, we have a shot at this, and this is going to be wonderful. And it was. So he spent a long time at the parish school, but now he goes to a typical school, and he's doing so well in all the things that we hoped and prayed for. So we're just so
I say
grateful.
cheers to that.
Yeah.
I know, right?
I say we say cheers to that. Let's start with these wines that
I
you have here
know.
and how people can access them, because again, what it does is it helps families to access that critical intervention that they might need. All right, what am I?
Okay, so first in the glass is what really started the entire Robert project. This is a 2023.
Oh, you're taking time to sniff and everything. I'm just
Sorry,
going right in. I'm going right in.
Hey, it's 9 a.m. Gobble up. Let's have fun.
This is really good. This is really good. This is the one that would sell out right when you.
Correct.
Yeah.
So when we launched in 2020, Bailey and I always had aspirations of starting our own wine label, and it was like most good ideas, over a bottle of wine in the middle of COVID, where we just, the lightning bolt went off. I was the CFO. We had a client that couldn't take delivery of his wine. And we always joke, Bailey's the dreamer and I'm the executor. And within 2 weeks, we had label design, cork foil, and the wine showed up at our house.
Wow.
And we thought we'd be stuck on this wine for many
Can
months.
we send you to Congress and just like, the dreamer and the executor, just get it done, knock it down.
Sure, I'm ready to serve.
It
but
really was. I mentioned Robert. I was like, oh, we could call it Robert and give a portion of the proceeds back to local nonprofits and things like that. And he was like, okay. And then the next day, he had it all lined up, and I was like, oh my gosh, can we afford to do this? Should we do this? And man, it took off.
And we sold out of it in the 24 hours.
Wow, great wine. Okay, then so you start adding to the list here.
Yes.
Correct.
And our next one is?
The next one is what we affectionately call Brother Bear. It's an homage to our other son, Thomas, that's 12. He felt a little bit left out because we had Robert.
Yeah, right.
So
He's like,
now we
where's
had to
my
have Brother
wine
Bear.
at 12 years old?
So
He's been a big part of Robert's development as well.
And unlike the first one, the first wine's available through our website, direct to consumer only. The second wine here is available at select HEBs across town. And in fact, we had several folks said we want a more approachable, everyday kind of red wine.
Well, it's interesting because both of them are really good, but completely different. Can I use the word profiles?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, you may. This wine is much more pop and pour friendly, whereas we encourage folks lay down the first one for a couple months, let it decant. This one we opened just before we came on the air, and this one is much more approachable, easy. Grab a bottle, take it to a friend's house, and enjoy.
Then you have the people who say, "Well, I don't do red. I like white wine."
Or I like both.
Yeah. Well, there you go. And pour them together and have a rosé. No, that's not how you make rosé. But anyway, yes.
So this last wine we introduced earlier this year, this is our Sauvignon Blanc. Sauvignon Blanc is just a wonderful spring, summer. Well, it's hot in Houston year round, so
Yeah,
technically you drink it year round. So
Yeah.
we call it Mama Bear as an homage to the moms that work so hard, like yourself.
This is called
to
AKA
raise.
trouble wine because
Yes.
this goes down really
It does.
easily.
We
Yeah.
sold out of this in about 7 days, and often to folks that bought their first and then called me the next day and said, we need more.
Yes.
Oh, this is really, really good. All right. Again, what it does is it helps parents who can't or have trouble accessing that early intervention.
Yes.
So, how do they go through the process of how do they figure out how to access those funds that you're talking about?
Sure. So we're donating to local nonprofits, things like the parish school.
And they can identify those families that need the
Yes,
help.
and so we want to make sure it goes directly to the families and they're receiving something. So we're still really open to donating to nonprofits. So if there are nonprofits out there that fit our mission, they're welcome to contact us. We'd love to know about them and feature them on our website and our social media. We want to raise awareness and we want to give back to the community so everyone has access to it.
And let me end with the parent who just heard the words, your child is autistic.
You'll get there. It's going to be okay. It's really rough, but it's worth the work. Get in early. Don't stop and wait.
As a dad, get your head out of the sand.
Don't wait and see. If your child has a speech delay and they're not talking, get into speech therapy.
And something important you said there, because oftentimes dads might feel like they're on the sidelines because mama bears jump in and we take care of everything, right?
Correct.
And it's like, you just sit over there, I got this taken care of, but we want your partnership in it as well.
It's
It was
tough.
really important.
Raising a child with special needs is tough on not only the individual, but on the marriage and, having someone in your support network. I mean, Bailey was instrumental in kind of saying, hey, get your head out. And so I've been typically on a monthly basis, I'm sitting down with a new dad who just got that diagnosis, and he's asking me questions that he doesn't feel comfortable asking his spouse, saying, will my kid be quarterback of the football team? Will my kid do this? And the answer is I don't know, but I can speak from experience.
The same questions for any child who's not autistic.
Exactly, for our 12-year-old.
I believe it's like, what is it, like less than like 0.00% that's going to be quarterback of the
I'm as concerned about my 12-year-old as I am my 10,
Yeah.
but for these dads, it's just encouraging. We're building this community where you can ask these questions. It's okay. We're trying to destigmatize autism and learning
you'll
language.
find out, at least my friends who have autistic children, they're usually the smartest ones in the room.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So thank you two so much.
Thank you for having us.
All right, to purchase Robert wines, visit greatdayhouston.com and we'll connect you. Stock up for your next party or enjoy the wine yourself. And remember, every bottle you buy supports nonprofit programs in schools that help children with learning and language differences to thrive.